Joining us now is the Australian Energy Market Operator Chief Executive, Daniel Westerman. Appreciate your time. Thanks so much, Daniel. Is this a cautionary tale for Australia? What's your assessment of the risk that we could see similar blackouts here?
Well, good afternoon, Ashley. It's good to be with you. And look, I'm not going to speculate on the potential cause of the incident in Spain and Portugal because, look, power systems are incredibly complex and we need to allow time for the experts to undertake their investigations. And we work very closely with our international peers, so we can expect that any lessons learned will be immediately transferred here. But what I would say is one of our core roles here at AEMO is to understand power system security, to maintain it. We have some of the most detailed and sophisticated engineering models in the world, and actually some of the best engineers. We analyse our systems, Australia's systems, very deeply, and we publish those insights on a regular basis and work with industry and governments and regulators to make sure that any risks are addressed.
Okay, so when we look at those risks, is the risk there that as we use more renewables, our chances of having power blackouts in Australia increases?
Look, I'd be very cautious about allocating the cause of the event to any type of generation. In fact, Spain's electricity mix at the time had a whole bunch of nuclear running, some gas and hydro, and it was connected to the rest of Europe. Power systems are designed and operated to be able to deal with some level of contingency, so some level of unexpected events. For example, in Victoria last year, we had a major storm that destroyed 6 transmission towers, and the impacts of that tripped off the largest generator at the time. It was a coal-fired power station in the Latrobe Valley. And while in that incident there were local outages caused by local power lines, the overall system remained stable. And so, look, there can be reasons for sudden drops in power and for incidents on the power system, but I'd be very careful about allocating the blame to a particular generation type.
Well, Spain, as you know, is a leader in solar and wind power generation, which is why there has been so much focus on what sort of role renewables may or may not have played in that outage. There has been a lot of commentary around the lack of ability in Spain to contain the blackout to one specific region. Are you saying that we here in Australia have better safeguards in place to be able to do that, to isolate it in the event of a blackout?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to make a comparison between Australia's and Spain and which one's better. But what I would say is in Australia, look, in my time as CEO over the last 4 years, we've seen a number of different events that have all been contained. We do have in Australia very carefully designed protection systems and processes and procedures to minimise the impact of these events. Over the last 4 years, I've seen major incidents at coal-fired power stations, major storms that have destroyed energy infrastructure, and each time these protection systems have worked well to isolate and minimise the level of impact, and that is what they're designed to do.
How critical is gas as a backup, and are we building transmission lines as fast as you would like to ensure that grid reliability?
Oh, look, we've said before on many occasions, the gas is the ultimate backstop for reliability in our power system. And in Australia, over the last decade, we've seen 12 major coal-fired power stations close over the past decade, and the rest they're getting older and they will retire at some point soon. The lowest cost form of replacement energy is renewable energy, but of course it needs to be smoothed out with batteries and hydro, and gas is absolutely critical as that ultimate backstop for those longer periods where it's dark and still. Transmission's also critical to be able to transport the lowest cost electrons from where they're generated to where they're consumed, and also for the grid to be resilient. So what's really critical at the moment is that we continue the momentum in building the renewable energy, the storage, the gas-fired generation, making sure there's enough gas in our systems, and the transmission to make sure that Australian homes and businesses do have that ongoing access to secure, reliable energy at the lowest cost possible.